Number 7. The Slide Trilogy HD PlayStation Move Minigame Collection. The Slide Trilogy HD PlayStation Move Minigame Collection is a collection of Slide Trilogy themed HD PlayStation Move oh fuck off. Look, they're minigames that came with a PS3 remaster of the first 3 games, and of all the games I've ever played, there's certainly some of them. It's cool seeing some of the game assets repurposed, and if you like shooting women and old people, there might be some value here for you, but otherwise it's a shallow experience that becomes repetitive fast. Whoa, look at that! It's someone who's never gonna play this again. Number 6. The Thievius Raccoonus. Promotional Flash games. Thievius Raccoonus had an interactive website promoting it, which included information about the game, unique Binocucom dialogue between the characters, clue bottles as a fuck you to Sly III fans, and most notably, a collection of minigames based on the game. Some are discount versions of its minigames. There's a Spot the Difference game that by some divine miracle finds a way to make Spot the Difference even more boring. There's a game where you find bottles hidden in Carmelita's office that is by far the hardest game I've ever played. And Ship of Terror, the worst man-made creation in history. Murray keeps genetically fusing with walls, you keep dying despite nothing actually touching you, and the controls gave me syphilis. A few games had interesting backstory, and unlike this thing, there's at least some variety and personality here, but overall these are forgotten games that are best kept that way. Well, now we've got the stupid gimmicky games out of the way, we can focus on the proper entries of the series. Number 5. Ah shit. Bentley's Hackpack is a spin-off title focusing on Bentley's hacking games from Thieves in Time. First, there's the top-down twin-stick shooter, the classic from the original trilogy that now has 100% more pointless mechanics. Next, there's the side-scroller, a fun spin on the original formula that doesn't have anything I can mock. Nice. Lastly, there's a game where you roll a ball with motion controls. I played this on the PS Vita, meaning I had to rotate the entire system to play this. This is like playing Band of Thieves while some prick violently shakes your head. This sucks! Overall though, I do like this game. The side-scroller is addictive thanks to its intriguing risk-reward progression system that rewards consecutive shots with instant upgrades and punishes hits by stripping that power away, and while the top-down one's new mechanics feel sluggish and generally unfun to me, this is still a fantastic adaptation of the original that expands on the fast and claustrophobic gameplay in a solid way. Most of all, I like this game because it inspires hope. If Bentley's Hackpack can make it into a top 5, then you can accomplish anything. Fuck the ball game though. Between that and Sonic Boom, Sanzaru games have brought some truly wretched things into the world. Luckily, we won't have to deal with any of their creations moving forward. Number 4. Damn it. Thieves in Time is the most controversial entry of the series. The most criticised element is its writing, and unfortunately, I'm agree with that. Sly has gone from a quick-witted gentleman to someone who, whenever someone flirts with his girlfriend, becomes a brooding emo that cracks jokes that make Amy Schumer look like a comedic mastermind.
Because you know... Don't say it! That's how I roll.
Murray has gone from someone who always doubts his abilities but will put those abilities to the test if it helps his friends, to I'm fat and gay, laugh at me. Carmelita has gone from a brilliant detective who loves her job but also appreciates the lighter side of life, to the girlfriend. When she's not waiting to be rescued by the superior sex, she's contemplating which man to snatch up next. Her hobbies include breathing, existing, and putting that ass to work. Remember when she defeated Mugshot by herself? Well, now she gets kidnapped with ease by this weakling, an armadillo who's about as threatening as an armadillo. Remember how she'd handle every situation with calmness and clarity, never letting her emotions get in the way of her work? Well, now she's always pissed off because women. Haha! Carmelita Montoya Fox is the girlfriend, rated PG-13. And I could go on and on. The fact that storytelling has gone from a character-driven epic where every action has lasting ramifications to things just happening to the characters for no logical reason. The fact that Penelope has gone from an overly technical yet bubbly and likable person to she's evil because money, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, 1, exclamation mark. The fact the main villain is so forgettable, I can't even remember anything about him to criticize. Hey look, his boss fight is a QuickTime event, everyone laugh at him. What a nerd! So overall, I like Thieves in Time. No, seriously. Yeah, its writing does make my unpublishable erotica novel look like the literary gold standard, but most other aspects of the game are done really well. I love the way it handles the hub worlds and collectibles. In the originals, it didn't take long to find all the clue bottles and treasures in Sly II, and all the, in Sly III, but not only does Thieves in Time add more collectibles, but it implements them in a more interesting way. There's a lot of collectibles you can't get until you obtain a specific costume later in the game, like this shitty Robin Hood cosplay that can create ropes to walk on, or that's just some fur thrown on his back. How is that supposed to help in any— Jesus fuck! You combine that with the fact that hub worlds are just generally more dense and intricate, and that the collectibles are even in the minigames now, and you have a game with a lot of replay value. I'd even say the most replay value of the series, if it wasn't for this shit. I also like the brilliant evolution of Sly III's costume idea and the abilities of the ancestors. These play differently than the normal gameplay while still being rooted in those core mechanics, so while these are basically just discount Slys, it's a good twist to the monotony breaker role, and even better than some like doing what I always do in my sex life, battling crabs. However, I still like the originals more because they do a better job with the most important part of a platformer, the controls. You could drop Sly in an empty room and still have minutes of fun just goofing around with the controls and physics. Who needs sex when you have Feral Pounce double jump into backflip ice wall grab? In contrast, Thieves in Time feels so floaty. Not bad necessarily, but a notable step down from the smoothness and quirks that made the original controls some of, in my opinion, the best of the genre. So overall, Thieves in Time is a flawed but fun game. Yes, my first time watching Murray belly dance is the before and after incident of my life, and yes, the characters are so trash that I'm now pro hunting, but if you switch off your brain and enjoy the gameplay for what it is, there's a really fun game here that evolves the original formula in some excellent ways. Number 3, the Thievius Raccoonus. In 2002, we saw the release of 2 games, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, and Grand Theft Auto Vice City. One game was the dark odyssey of a man who, as a child, watched his parents brutal murder, who, as a teenager, formed a crime syndicate with 2 fellow thieves, who, as an adult, always makes inappropriate advances at female police officers. And the other game was Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Yeah, Thievius Raccoonus was one of the earliest 3D platformers to nail a serious story. The narrative is a unique spin on the coming of age concept, wherein we watch a man get revenge on his parents' murderers by savagely murdering all of their friends. Sly's character development here is fantastic. He starts off wanting to preserve his family's legacy, but after experiencing some vile shit like Panda King burying an entire village in snow, having a shit dance competition with a redneck, and battling a guy who is way more into porn than jogging, we see Sly's worldview mature. By the end of the game, he's not just doing this for his family, but to stop more innocent lives from being ruined too. His focus shifts from the past to the future, a reoccurring theme of the series that is especially done well in Honor Among Thieves. More on that soon. While the other characters don't get as much attention until the sequels, Carmelita's arc is just going from cold-hearted bitch to being smitten by Sly's sexual harassment. We see a nerd become more confident and a nerd become more confident. They're still memorable because of the excellent character interactions. The dynamic of Sly's bravado juxtaposing Bentley's phobia of just a few things. Sly and Carmelita's flirtatious banter that introduced me to the concept of blue balls at a young age. Sly's philosophy debates with his parents' murderers that reflect both characters' motivations in an interesting way. The writing is incredibly sharp. The only issue I had with the story was, after I beat one boss, I couldn't figure out how to find the location of the next one.
Mugshot, my villainous cohort in Utah.
Go poking around his stronghold in China.
Go down to Haiti.
Oh nice, thanks! Its gameplay is essentially a well-done expansion of the Crash Bandicoot formula. It combines stealth, a genre about cautious movement, with platforming, a genre about fun movement mechanics. It's such an obvious combination, yet not many of the games have done it, which is a shame because it's brilliant here. You have the tension of the stealth, but the fast pace and fluidity of the platforming, thus creating a captivating dynamic that keeps you thinking on your feet, especially since Sly can only take a few hits. I learned from my neighbour's dog that would always lie in my driveway that animals die easily. The game also adds an element of exploration through the clue bottles you can find, which give you really useful upgrades like So overall, Thievius Raccoonus is incredible. I don't rank it higher because I personally prefer the more open design of the sequels, and I also feel those games have even better stories, but this remains one of the PS2's quintessential titles, with one of the most well-written protagonists of the generation. If nothing else, it's one of the only games in history to have representation of my home country, Wales, which isn't just one of our shit football teams. The game portrays it as a rundown swamp that's always raining. The accuracy is astounding. Number 2, Band of Thieves. Dun 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 Band of Thieves is a masterpiece that expands on the last one's feats. The one-man battling fiends is now about a gang's misdeeds. The writing achieves its potential. This bitch becomes a professional. This bit's three-dimensional, hence a tale even more exceptional. Themes like manipulation make dynamic motivation. Neela betrays the nation, a match to Sly's persuasion. Thus a narrative unpredictable, which combined with its bigger scope and the gang's dynamic which is spoke, makes the story and world deep and bold, but the biggest change is the gameplay. The linear levels are replaced, with open hubs and health that is buffed and deeper mechanics displayed. This adds variety more natural than battling these crab assholes. The combat is fun and being on the run is a fresh take on platforms. Each stage is structured like a heist, so everything you do adds to the final fight. Thus nothing feels like a waste of time, and you jump between these two and Sly. All three have very different styles, so switching between them feels worthwhile. This and the exploration combined make a gameplay loop so sublime, but not one that's perfection. The heli tank and turret sections are as fun as a fungal infection, and Clockler, riding and progression, plus fuck level 3. A trash attempt of verticality, fuck level 3. Navigation catastrophe, fuck level 3. At least its twist is legendary, but generally, it's a masterpiece. Please remasterpiece. Number 1, Honor Among Thieves. I guess we should start this by addressing the elephant in the room. Most people consider Band of Thieves the best in the series, so what is this shit? Well, while I agree Sly 2 is incredible, I've always preferred the third entry. One reason is because it's less formulaic. In Sly 2, every episode must open with Sly practicing for his photography night class. Every episode must have a pickpocketing and or following mission, which the Assassin's Creed developers really liked apparently. I don't think this detracts from the game, but Sly 3 has a looser structure that makes it less repetitive. Every episode starts off differently. Halfway through one episode you become stranded at sea. At one point they can't even view Bentley's presentation because his laptop is stolen, which they realise while viewing his presentation. How the fuck are they seeing this? We can also see this in the missions. In Sly 2, there'll be an entire mission that's just a shitty turret section, versus Sly 3, where the turret section is just a shitty part of a mission. This means no gameplay style overstates its welcome. But at the same time, the game also avoids the trap of variety automatically equals better, because it does a great job letting sections breathe where fitting. For example, the Cooper Vault stage is just 10 minutes of 3D platforming nirvana. I would let the creators of this level fuck my girlfriend. Outside the missions, I also love 3's hub worlds. In 2, that damn level 3 plus 4, 5 and 8 were very vertical, which made them really awkward to navigate sometimes, especially as Bentley and Murray who can't jump and hit the circle button. Compare this to 3, where there's still elements of verticality, the name of my new rock band, but the levels are laid out in a flatter, more traversable way. Furthermore, Bentley and Murray now have better movement mechanics like the triple jetpack and ball form respectively, so you have this dynamic where Sly is still the most agile, but now Bentley and Murray are more competent. I also love Sly 3's story. Its main theme is moving on from the past, which is expertly written into every character's arc. Sly forging his own future rather than clinging to his Alabama level love for his relatives and their traditions, Carmelita looking past Sly's past, Murray come to terms with Bentley's handicap, me being so stuck in the past I'm reviewing decade-old kids games, and so on. Even the villains act as symbols for why tradition is bad. Dr. M is the type of guy to say hip-hop isn't real music, and Sao and LaFouille cling to outdated philosophies like sexism, which is beautiful because they're eventually taken down by Carmelita and Penelope respectively. Who knew Sly Cooper was such a feminist icon? By the end of the game, it's clear every character couldn't give a shit about tradition anymore.
Glad you boys are impressed, cause it looks like I'll have to go on from here alone.
Wait, how did he get in here? Where the fuck did she come from? Now I'm in here? I also love the expanded Cooper Gang concept. In 1 and 2, you go up against a group of criminals, but 3 reverses that and makes you the group of criminals, like the police do with black people. This is great because it allows one of the series' greatest strengths, its character interactions, to flourish. Dimitri flirting with the completely uninterested Penelope, Sly and Panda King struggling to forgive each other, another example of the great moving on from the past theme, Murray's destructive nature being juxtaposed by the Guru's non-violence policy, which we see when he rams those guards' heads into a van to the point the back door flies off, and when he runs those guards into those moving drills which kills them on impact. Dude, you're full of shit. We even see Bentley call Mugshot's mother a whore. That's amazing. They knew what they had here because they even designed game mechanics around these interactions. Hit them with the 10 or 10 or bass. I could go on and on about Sly 3 because it is, without a doubt, one of my favourite games of all time. As is Sly 2 in fact. And fuck it, sure, Sly 1 too. No. Honor Among Thieves perfects everything that made the first 2 games classics. The innovative design of Band of Thieves that to this day has never been replicated. The rich storytelling and character work started in Thievius Raccoonus. The slick soundtrack that embodies the mysterious yet playful tone of the series. Could have done without those fucking lockpick minigames though. Regardless of your favourite entry, I think we can agree on one thing. Sly Cooper is one of the most special game franchises out there. Its unique brand of stealth-infused platforming, on paper, goes against everything that makes this in-your-face genre work, yet it just works. Its deep, character-driven narrative goes above and beyond what's expected from a quote-unquote kids game, featuring some of the most captivating stories and characters of its era. It is truly lightning in a bottle, and even if there will never be another Sly Cooper, there will never be another Sly Cooper.